Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido and today we are coming to you from Burbank City where the Plasma are hosting the Vilestone Breakers, and as we have a look at this tale of the tape for this elimination final, the last time we saw the Burbank Plasma they were actually defeating the Vilestone Breakers to ensure that they would have this spot starting in the championship series, whereas the Breakers had to go all the way through the leaders trials to earn this spot, and whoever loses this matchup will be deemed our first member of the Elite Four. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the poison types? Will it be the fighting types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And it is going to be Gengar starting out with Venusaur on the side of the Plasma, and it is that clanging scales that is going to lower the defense on Gengar, but gets in some great damage onto Myanchar, who goes for the Bolt Strike, getting some great damage as well for a not very effective move onto Venusaur, as it is joined by that Hisuian Decidueye. The minimize though from Venusaur is going to greatly boost its evasiveness, making it a harder target for Decidueye to connect with as it goes for the Aqua Cutter, but it does connect with that not very effective move on the Grass type. However, Gengar is going to go with the Ice Punch, putting Myanchar into knockout range already in this game 1 of this best of 3 series, as that Magnetic Flux from Myanchar is going to fail. This is going to allow Venusaur to go for the Self-Destruct, which is actually quite intelligent in a way because it knows it is not going to connect with Gengar, and it is successful in taking Myanchar out in the process. But Decidueye has an opportunity to capitalize, goes for the Scratch, and it phases straight through the Ghost type, and it is going to be Inferno coming out to join Decidueye, as Toxtricity in that low-key form is going to join Gengar, who still has that speed control, immediately going for the Flame Charge, but unfortunately goes for the Fire type Inferno, so it's not very effective. Gengar though, with that speed boost, trying to ensure it maintains speed control. The Metal Sound from Infernape is going to lower that special defense a great deal of Toxtricity, who is going to respond with the Dream Eater, but it is not going to be successful. No one's asleep on the side of the Breakers, as it is hoping to crush their dreams in this matchup, and that is Gengar's special attack being lowered from Decidueye, but it responds with the Zing Zap to put Decidueye into knockout range with that not very effective move. Inferno responds with the Mystical Power. This will be super effective, and it is a one-hit wonder to take Toxtricity out of this matchup. There is the special attack boost for Infernape in the process. This puts the Vilestone Breakers in front. However, Decidueye has flinched. That could be crucial, as out comes Brute Bonnet for the Burbank Plasma there to Terrestrial Drive D, taking on this poison typing. It has been an absolute menace for sides going up against the Plasma. And the Breakers are yet to get a win over the Plasma in PokeType League history. They want that first one and that second one here today, but the Meteor Mash from Gengar is immediately going to eliminate Decidueye from this match. The Confuse Ray in response from Infernape onto Gengar, who they've been very reluctant to connect with, probably due to that cursed body that it does have as its ability. Brute Bonnet though with the Psychic, this will be super effective onto Infernape, and it gets the elimination with that super effective critical play to take the Firefighting type out and put the Burbank Plasma in front. As out comes Como, it is going to be joined by Emboar for the Vilestone Breakers. Gengar needs to shake off this confusion and not do damage to itself, but it is unsuccessful, slapping itself in the face with that massive tongue, taking its first damage of the match. Como looking to capitalize, goes with the speed swap, very intelligently focusing in on Gengar there, the quickest Pokemon on the field at the moment. Emboar is going to follow it up with the triple dive, getting some massive damage, but off that first connection, the Cursed Body is immediately activated. It will be able to finish off this triple dive though, and with this third connection it eliminates Gengar from this match, leveling the playing field. We are now down to a 3 versus 3 matchup, but Brute Bonnet has an opportunity to try and capitalize, and we know Emboar will be struggling soon as Gengar has finally been eliminated. Brute Bonnet with the conversion, it's already changed its type though. This is going to fail, but it is now joined by Overquill. And with that Intimidate ability, it does level the physical attack of the fighting types, but Como is going to go for the Aurora Veil, but it is not snowing on this field, so that is going to fail. This allows Overquill to try and capitalize with the Trick Room, trying to give that speed control to Brute Bonnet here on the field, as those dimensions do get twisted, and Brute Bonnet is going to go with the Struggle Bug, connecting with both fighting types for not very effective damage, unfortunately, but it is going to lower that special attack of both Emboar and Como, as Emboar has no moves left. It is going to struggle going for Brute Bonnet there, getting in the critical play as well, but that recoil damage does just as much to Ember as it did to Brute Bonnet, and Brute Bonnet responds with the Fire Pledge being resisted by the Dragon Fighting type there on the field. Ember, though, is continuing to struggle, this time going for Overquill, and there is more recoil damage as Overquill is going to go with the Aqua Jet, super effective to put Ember into knockout range. Komaro, however, is going to respond with the Stomp. Not much damage though being done to Overquill. This allows Brute Bonnet to go with the Happy Hour, feeling very confident here in game 1, but it is not over yet as it's caught up in that happy atmosphere. Ember, though, continuing to struggle, goes for Brute Bonnet, not much damage, and that recoil damage is going to take Ember out of this matchup, putting the Burbank Plasma once again back in front. Overquill follows it up with the Eruption. And they continue to connect with that not very effective damage onto Komaro, who is going to go with the Hard Press, not doing that much damage there to Brute Bonnet, as out comes Annihilate. The tag team of Annihilate and Komaro has been dominating this season, but the Roar of Time from Brute Bonnet onto Komaro immediately gets the elimination with that super effective move, separating the two, not allowing them to team up. Overquill follows it up with the Payback on to the part Ghost type, who is going to respond with the Cotton Guard. Annihilate, who's been having a great season, needs to go on the offensive, boosting its defenses here a great deal though, as Brute Bonnet does have to recharge. Overquill is going to go and set up for the Solar Beam. It's absorbing the light here on this turn. This could allow Annihilate to try and capitalize. It goes with the Wrap onto Brute Bonnet, not doing much damage at first, but that passive damage will continue to do more to the Terrestrial Draftee. And as these dimensions return to normal, Annihilate has got back speed control going with the Venoshock. This will be resisted by Overquill. This is going to allow it to finish off the Solar Beam, trying to finish off Annihilate, but needs to hang on, and it actually doesn't take that much damage as Brute Bonnet is going to follow it up with the Mega Horn. They are on the offensive here, but that does practically nothing to Annihilate, as that Wrap does more damage to Brute Bonnet, and Annihilate could go for the quick elimination. It goes with the Magic Powder instead. This is going to change Overquill to a Psychic type Pokemon. And Overquill, though, does respond with the Hurricane to eliminate Annihilate, and the Burbank Plasma have continued their win streak over the Breakers, taking Game 1 in this best of 3 series. But the sides do reset and recharge, as it is now going to be that Alolan Muck joined by Tentacruel coming out for the Plasma in Game 2. It's Quaquaval and Gardevoir coming out for the Breakers, their own Terrestrial Draftee, as the Vilestone Breakers are going to have their hidden abilities here in Game 2. Burbank Plasma having their regular abilities this time around, but if we go to a Game 3, they will be reverted back, and the Vilestone Breakers need to win the next 2 games to substitute those start out from Tentacruel, putting that substitute doll in its place to take damage from it. But Quaquaval is going to go for the fake out, trying to get rid of this substitute doll that is taking the damage for Tentacruel. Gardevoir is going to follow it up with the Headlong Rush onto that substitute doll. It is super effective as it takes the damage for Tentacruel, and it is going to fade away from the field, so they can now target Tentacruel once again, as that defense does get lowered for Gardevoir and that special defense as well. And Muck is looking to respond with the tea time, and everyone is about to chow down on those leopard berries, as every Pokemon in the PokeType League does hold on to these. And if you're enjoying the PokeType League and what you're seeing here, please leave a like, share, subscribe, help this series grow so we can have many more seasons to come, as we are already looking ahead to Season 3 as we make our way towards Season 2's Champions game. But with that said, let's get back into this action, as Tentacruel is going to go with the overheat onto Quaquaval. This is going to be resisted by the Water type, still taking some good damage for a not very effective move. That special attack does get lowered on Tentacruel, though, allowing Quaquaval to respond with the Bulldoze. And with that telepathy ability, Gardevoir is not going to take any damage from its teammate, but it is super effective there onto the Poison types, lowering the speed of both of them at the same time as well. Gardevoir does follow it up with the Blaze Kick, putting Tentacruel into knockout range with that not very effective move. Muck is going to respond though with the Acid Armor. And it does boost that physical defense a great deal, but Quaquaval this time going for the Misty Explosion. And we know it's not going to take out its teammate with that telepathy ability, but it doesn't do enough to take out even Tentacruel there, as Quaquaval has eliminated itself. The Burbank Plasma with the early lead. Gardevoir needs to get the elimination, goes for the Accelerock, and it does take Tentacruel out of this match, immediately leveling the playing field. But Muck has an opportunity to capitalize, and it sets up the Sandstorm. both of these Pokemon on the field are going to be taking damage from this Sandstorm that is in play as they are sending out their second members. It is now going to be the Cantonian Muck joining the Alolan Muck. It is Great Tusk who loves this Sandstorm and immediately goes for the defog on the field with that speed control, lowering the evasiveness of that Alolan Muck, and Gardevoir follows it up with the Iron Tail to immediately connect, but it does not do much damage. This allows the Cantonian Muck to go for the Heat Crash onto Great Tusk, not doing that much damage either, and this time the Alolan Muck's going to follow up its fellow Muck with the Psychic Fangs to eliminate Gardevoir with some massive damage. The Terrestrial Draftee has been taken out of this matchup, putting the Burbank Plasma once again in front as this Sandstorm still raging on the field is doing damage to both the Mucks, but again, Great Tusk being part ground type feels at home in this atmosphere as out comes Ember onto the field. Great Tusk is going to go with the Stomping Tantrum onto that Cantonian Muck, putting it into knockout range. Not enough to get the elimination. Ember could finish it off here. Instead, it goes for the Moonlight, but it is already at full strength, so that is going to fail. This allows the Cantonian Muck to go with the close combat onto Ember, getting that critical play as well, lowering its own defense in the process, but it knows it is such an easy target, also lowering that special defense. And the Alolan Muck follows up with the X-Scissor, but instead goes for Great Tusk. Very little damage being done there. And there's that Sandstorm also doing damage to Amber here on the field. But that Cantonian Muck crucially has held on, and the Alolan Muck is also now in knockout range. The Judgment from Great Tusk takes out the Alolan Muck as it will not pass this Judgment here. Once again, this playing field is level. Ember is going to go with the Lick to put the Vilestone Breakers in front with that critical play to complete the huge play for the fighting types. They've just taken the lead and they need this win to take this to a Game 3 in this best of 3 series. That Sandstorm doing damage there to Ember. It is going to be Overcool coming out for the Burbank Plasma, and it is joined by Gengar. Once again, that cursed body ability, and it's got the speed control with the Shell Sidearm to eliminate Ember. Again, we are back to a level playing field. It is now a 3 versus 3 matchup once again, just like in Game 1. Great Tusk though with the Tachyon Cutter, this multi-hit move on to Overcool, getting some good damage with those 2 connections as well, avoiding the poison point. Overcool is going to go for the Gunk Shot though. They're continuing with these poison type moves, not very effective though on to Great Tusk, but they've left it with that poison status condition. This is going to chip away at the health of the fighting ground type as we see it starting to take effect on Great Tusk. It is now going to be joined by Annihilate, returning for Game 2. Gengar though with the triple axle immediately meeting its fellow ghost type here on the field, but it only connects to get the double axle, and allowing Annihilate to go with the Ice Shard in response, going for its own ice type moves, and that Curse Body has immediately been activated onto Annihilate. Great Tusk though with the Forest's Curse, it is going to add that grass typing to Gengar here. I wonder if they were intending to do that before the Ice Shard, as Overcool is going to go for the Blue Flare, putting Great Tusk into knockout range, and that poison, it needs to hang on. It is able to, but it is an easy target for Gengar, who is going to go with the Topsy Turvy. And that does fail. This allows Annihilate to go with that struggle, but instead it is going to go for Overcool, and it is going to be touched by that poison point, so now it has that poison status condition to contend with as well. They need to get Gengar off this field. It is going to be the Petal Blizzard though from Great Tusk, connecting with everybody on the field. It looked like it may have done more damage to Annihilate than anyone who's on the receiving end of a Snipe Shot, putting it now into knockout range by Overcool there. It hangs on from its poison, but Great Tusk is going to be eliminated. The Burbank Plasma have taken the lead. They just need to take out Annihilate and whoever comes out next for the Vilestone Breakers, and they will be moving on to that minor semi-final. It is Infernape. The Water Spout though from Gengar takes out Annihilate. Massive damage to the Fire type Infernape, who has to contend with 3 poison types. Infernape is going to go with the Horn Drill. It's going big, but it is not going to work on Gengar. It phases straight through. This allows Overcool to go with the Dive. It is going to hide underwater. This will be super effective if it can connect Gengar with the Power Trip on to Infernape. Does very, very little damage. Infernape is going to respond with the Sludge Wave. This will be avoided by Overcool. It connects with Gengar. It doesn't do a great deal of damage with that being not very effective, and the Dive from Overcool. The Vilestone Breakers worked all their way to get here in this elimination final, but they have been taken out in straight sets by the Burbank Plasma. And it is the Verbank Plasma who will be moving on to face the Mahogany Explorers in that minor semi-final. The Poison types trying to get their redemption arc here and win that Champions game. Whereas the Vilestone Breakers, very impressive to get here. They have ensured they will be an Elite Four member, being the first side, but they have been taken out of contention for that Champions game, as we will be going into our exhibition match. And for the Breakers, this is just for bragging rights, trying to show that they can get a win over the Plasma. They are 4-0 against the Plasma. It is Great Tusk and Myantia, as Myantia with the Dragon Darts onto that low-key Toxtricity and the Cantonian Muck. The Plasma just trying to build more momentum. Great Tusk with the conversion here, but it is so unfortunate to see the Breakers lose like this. They did so well to get this far. They took down both the Fairy and Psychic types. They were at massive disadvantages, and then they've come to face the Plasma, and once again the Plasma have been able to hold them off, as the Hex from Myantia onto that Cantonian Muck, chipping away at its health. That Great Tusk follows up by setting up the Future Sight onto Muck. We know that that will be super effective, as that is a foreseen attack. Toxtricity with the Mud Shot here onto Great Tusk, gets in some great damage there, lowering its speed in the process, and Muck is going to follow it up with the Leech Seed on to Myantia, planting those seeds to try and sap that health and try and restore some of its own in the process, as we see happening here. Again, this is an exhibition game. This is not an official matchup, so this, even if the Breakers win, it will not count towards their record, as Myantia with the Fire Fang gets in some good damage there onto Toxtricity, and it is flinched. It is unable to move. Great Tusk looking to capitalize, goes with the Dragon Pulse onto Toxtricity, putting it into knockout range, and Muck is going to go with the Flash Cannon onto Great Tusk, gets in some good chip damage. And that health continuing to be sapped there from Myantia and being restored for Muck in this matchup. But the Verbank Plasma, they want to get back to that Champions game for the second season in a row. They fell short last season, and they have to go the longer path here, knowing that if they lose any match, there will be no second chances, as again, they are going up against the Mahogany Explorers next game. That Aqua Cutter from Great Tusk taking Toxtricity out of this match. Muck is going to go with the Alluring Voice to eliminate Myantia in response with that super effective move. A fantastic play there by that Cantonian Muck. But that Future Sight is going to take effect, getting some super effective damage onto Muck in the process, as out comes Quaquaval, who unfortunately took itself out very early in game 2. Venusaur coming out for the Verbank Plasma, and Quaquaval with the fling. It is immediately going to fling its Leopard Berry at Muck, not doing much damage there on the field, and Muck is just going to proceed to chow down and eat that Leopard Berry, restoring some of its PB in the process. And the Air Cutter now from Venusaur, super effective on Quaquaval. Great Tusk having changed its type, it is not super effective, and this time it's setting up the Doom Desire, choosing Doom as the destiny for Muck and probably for the Plasma. The Breakers do not want to see the Plasma make it to a Champions game and potentially become this season's champion, as Great Tusk is eliminated by Muck. It is Decidueye coming out for the Vilestone Breakers. Quaquaval still dancing. I'm not sure now is the time to be dancing like that. You have been eliminated from Victory Road, as the Shore Up from Venusaur is going to restore its health back to full strength. Decidueye is going to go with the Head Smash, also going for Venusaur here. Massive damage there being done to its fellow Grass type, as there is recoil damage for Decidueye. Muck is going to go with the Tea Time, and once again, if you still haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Click that like button, subscribe, help this channel grow. We want a season 3 of this, as those Leopard Berries are being chowed down, but not for Quaquaval, who flung it straight away at Muck. So it's already had 2 Leopard Berries in this matchup, clearly overjoyed with all the food, and that the Plasma are moving on into that minor semi-final. The Fairy Lock from Quaquaval making it so no one can run away, but the Plasma definitely not looking to run away with the way their season is looking. That Acid super effective onto Decidueye from Venusaur, but the last respects from Decidueye takes Venusaur out of this matchup, once again leveling the playing field. The Breakers, it's not that they had a bad performance, it was just that they couldn't get it over the line. They held strong against the Plasma, even in that final round that made them have to go the long path through Victory Road. They had a great showing against the Plasma, but the Plasma just seemed to be that little bit better than them at the moment. Maybe next season the Breakers can redeem themselves. Another Sandstorm being set up as Tentacruel comes out onto the field for the Verbank Plasma. Quaquaval is going to go with the Disable. They want Muck left to be struggling here on the field and having that recoil damage as the Decidueye needs to shake off that confusion down there on the field. It is successful, going with the Mudslap to eliminate Muck from this match, and the Vast Breakers once again taking the lead. These two sides are very hard to separate, and yet the Burbank Plasma have 4 victories over the Breakers. Is this another rivalry being set here in the PokeType League? Because right now I cannot wait to see these two sides go head to head next season, as out comes Brute Bonnet taking on that Terrestrial form, and we will continue to see it take on this Terrestrial form when they go up against the Mahogany Explorers. And the Mahogany Explorers know well about having a Terrestrial Pokemon, as their Terrestrial draftee is Sneasler, a former member of the Burbank Plasma. How will they cope when they come head to head next week? I cannot wait for that, as it is Decidueye once again trying to shake off this confusion, and it is successful again, going with the Icicle Crash onto Brute Bonnet, getting in some good damage there, but Brute Bonnet is able to respond with the Peck to get the elimination with that super effective move. And speaking of Terrestrial Pokemon, it was Decidueye who returned to the Vilestone Breakers this season, last season previously being a Flying type Terrestrial draftee. That Sandstorm doing damage to everybody on the field, and again, for the 3rd game in a row, it is a 3 versus 3 matchup between these two sides. It is Komaro coming out to the field, and immediately Tentacruel welcomes it with a Dragon Dance, boosting its own attack as well as its speed. I wonder if Komaro doesn't appreciate that, as immediately it's going to go with the Work Up. Clearly getting worked up after seeing that Dragon's Dance. It is going to boost its own attack and special attack that are both over 110 base physical attack. The flip turn though from Quaquaval, getting some good damage there onto Brute Bonnet. That's what we needed to see from Quaquaval, as out comes Gardevoir for the Vilestone Breakers, the Fairy Lock from Brute Bonnet. And Gardevoir is yet to take its turn to Terrasilize, but we will see that shortly, and it will be the last time we see it take on this fighting typing this season. Have to wonder what we can see the next time we see Gardevoir. Will it be on the same side as Gallade, who was also a Terrestrial draftee this season, having been drafted away from the Vilestone Breakers? The possibilities for the Breakers to try and improve on this season, after having not even made Victory Road last season, they've improved so much to make it into the Elite Four, as Gardevoir takes on that fighting typing for the last time. The Fury Swipes from Tentacruel is going to be avoided by Gardevoir. Komaro is going to look to capitalize, going with the Baton Pass. The Breakers going with these consistent changes, as Quaquaval will be returning to the field. And Gardevoir follows it up with the Ally Switch, so trading places there on the field with Quaquaval immediately. This could confuse Brute Bonnet, as it is going to go with the Super Fang onto Gardevoir, getting some great damage, halving that health there, and there is that Sandstorm continuing to do a bit of damage to everybody on the field, and we're not sure who that last Pokemon on the bench for the Burbank Plasma is right now, but there is that Sandstorm doing damage to everybody. The Breakers want to win this unofficial game just to prove they can get one over the Plasma. The Tickle from Tentacruel, lowering those physical stats of Gardevoir, who's more of a special based Pokemon. It was a special asset for the Vilestone Breakers. The Sweet Scent from Quaquaval on the field, lowering the evasiveness a great deal of both poison types, but Brute Bonnet is such an easy target. Gardevoir could eliminate it. Here goes for the Aura Sphere, capitalizing on its fighting typing, going for Brute Bonnet, and it eliminates it from this matchup with that critical play, just to ensure the not very effective move gets the damage done. And once again, the Vilestone Breakers have taken the lead. The Plasma only have 2 Pokemon remaining. And finally, that Sandstorm does subside, as it is the Alolan Muck coming out for the Burbank Plasma. Tentacruel with the Mystical Fire, trying to level the playing field, but Quaquaval hangs on even after a critical play, but it does have its special attack lowered in the process. Looking to respond, it is going to go with the Hone Claws. It's such an easy target though, it needs to go on the offensive. It's just boosted its attack, it's boosting its accuracy as well. Muck could capitalize, but first Gardevoir is going to go for the Zap Cannon, getting some great damage on the Muck, but it would have been super effective on the Tentacruel, but it does get that paralysis, so Muck may be unable to move. However, it is successful in shaking it off, goes for the Mud Slap, but instead goes for Gardevoir, who tanks that move, absolutely lowering that accuracy. Tentacruel though, with the Horn Leech, eliminates Gardevoir from this matchup. We are down to a 2 versus 2 matchup, almost getting itself back to full strength in the process. This is the last time we will see Gardevoir take on this form. We will see you next time, Gardevoir, as we know, Komaro is going to be returning to the field, but first Quaquaval is going to go for the Teeter Dance, trying to confuse the two poison types here on the field, hoping that they'll be doing damage to themselves, because if they do any damage to Quaquaval, you have to think it is definitely going to be eliminated. Again, we know that Komaro will be returning to the field from the bench. Muck needs to shake off this confusion first though, and it is unsuccessful, doing damage to itself. That is what the breakers needed. Komaro comes out onto the field. Tentacle needs to shake off its confusion as well. And it is successful, going with the Frenzy Plant. Wow, that was a bit much, don't you think, to take Quaquaval out of this match, but there is no more dancing from Quaquaval this season. Komaro, however, is going to respond with the Mega Kick, putting Muck into knockout range. It snapped out of its confusion, though, being kicked out of that confusion. It responds with the Hydro Pump. This will be resisted, though, by Komaro. And Tentacle does have to recharge as Komaro looks to capitalize. It goes with the Metal Claw, gets in some good chip damage with that not very effective move. But Muck is going to go for the Milk Drink very intelligently. It was such an easy target, but it is going to restore its health. And Tentacle is going to snap out of its confusion. They have the 2-1 advantage. It goes with the Brutal Swing. It's going to do a little bit of damage to its own teammate in the process. Thankfully, it's not very effective, but it's not very effective on Komaro either, who does respond with the Sacred Sword. Getting some good damage with that not very effective move, but it opens the door for Muck to capitalize with the Terror Blast onto Komaro. Still chipping away at the part. Dragon type. Tentacle follows it up with the Seed Bomb. They are continuing on the offensive with these not very effective moves. This allows Komaro to try and respond by going for the Pin Missile. This multi-hit move, it will need to get all 5 to get some worthy damage here onto the part Water type. Gets 3 connections with that not very effective move, and whilst it was doing that, Muck was able to line up the Icicle Spear, its own multi-hit move. It's got 1, it's got 2, it puts Komaro into knockout range, it's got 3, it just needs 1 more, and it is going to connect with that 4th one to ensure that the Vilestone Breakers, still even in an unofficial game, are unable to get a win over the Verbank Plasma. But with that said, thank you, Vilestone Breakers. We will see you next season. Congratulations on becoming a member of the Elite Four. But with that said, it is going to be the Mahogany Explorers going up against the Verbank Plasma in that minor semi-final. And with that, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe. But more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.